Hi friends, in Planet Earth Dating, it's Thursday, May 24th, 2018. In both the Lynn Life and the Jamie Body Mind, the authorized souls remain only child souls from the deeper, denser dimensions, and all other souls from all other dimensions, as long as those souls are already living by the Search for Truth rules, given to the Search for Truth community by wiser minds above all of us. And those rules include contributing more to completing the assignments given to the Search for Truth community by wiser minds above all of us than the individuals take or use or borrow in Search for Truth resources. Our foundational intention remains to do what is ours to do right now in all dimensions, to create worlds that work in all dimensions and for all categories of sentience, no matter what anyone else does or doesn't do, since that's what our soul contracts commit us to doing. And the data very clearly shows that what is needed in this time is to reestablish the upward flow that historically was present throughout the dimensions, but which has been eliminated by dimensional collapse and astral shutdowns. So to re-establish upward flow is part of the current priority list and seems to be the project for today. And with that, the formally videoed portions of today's efforts begin. I suddenly have an itchy arm, just right here. Just fascinating. The answer to the question is itchiness in a rectangular band, kind of like a diagonal stripe. That's the answer to the question. Why do you ask, and for whom is the message? That stripe makes it seem as though it's possible it's about a dimension. That's true. Is this about a dimension? They're talking about the bands of light and dark.
Yes, they are.
Which are layers of the astrals, and possibly they're layers of astrals, less dense presences, and more dense presences, and then the less dense presences affiliated with those more dense presences in kind of a sandwiching bands of light and dark layering effect.
That's true.
Wow, there's just all kinds of interesting stuff happening. Now we're getting what feels like insect stings. On the flip side, there's itchiness here and insect stings there. This is fascinating. There's nothing on it. There's no reason for that to be happening, and it started with the intention to reestablish upward flow.
Whoa.
But now, in order to reestablish upward flow, this is what we're supposed to focus on.
That's true.
It's really clear that this is what we're supposed to focus on. Let's see if we can figure out what the message is. Well, there's a discussion room going on here, and somebody says, well, it does seem as though it's a message of incompletion, that whatever we have just done isn't complete because we still have at least 2 stripes to go. Both of these messages are in stripes, reasonably long stripes, a strip here and a strip there. They're both on the right forearm, but there are 2 separate stripes. And here's somebody who has placed guesses before, whose guesses have been correct, and this person's saying, I know what it is. There's at least 2 more dimensions that are needing to be removed from that which is between wherever this discussion group is holding its conference and ground zero. There's 2 more dimensions, at least 2 more. This one and that one, there's at least 2 more that need to get out of the way, possibly so that you can see more clearly what's actually going on down here, possibly to make it possible to reestablish upward flow from here to you. But there's at least two more. This is different than that.
That's true.
Now it's starting to go away. And when the signal goes away, that means the interpretation is correct. Now it's completely gone. Now there's no more itch. There's no more sting. That makes it look, strongly suggests, and some might say proves, that the guess is correct.
That's true.
Why do you ask? They just don't want to have to get rid of two more dimensions. It's been so hard to pick which dimensions were the worst ones.
That's true.
And now all of the dimensions that are left in between whatever height they are at and ground zero, however they measure this dimension right here, ground zero, every single one of those dimensions is dearly loved to them, and they are by them, and they really don't want to get rid of any of them. But this is pretty clear. None of us, there's a lot of things in this effort to create worlds that work that nobody wants to do that still need to be done.
That is super true.
A hawk just flew right through there. The answer to the question is a hawk. Hawks sometimes are references to Ra.
That's true.
What does Ra say to do? The Ra in that room. He does have a theory as to at least one, and I think both of the dimensions.
It feels like both.
In question. He thinks he knows which ones they are, and he's
That's true.
Speaking very calmly and diplomatically to the presences in that conference room who are most likely to take exception to those two particular dimensions going.
That's true.
What now to reestablish upward flow? We can pump up dead children from wherever Pan is working in the depths. He keeps working, and he keeps showing us where presences are most likely to be willing to move up to the less dense realms.
That is very head clearing.
Which way is forward?
Forward.
Which way is forward? We do seem to be rotated to the side again. We have realigned many times already today with forward and up to our best abilities, and then we use a Sangha who is our current barometer. Check that guy, see how he's doing.
That's true.
And somebody's asking why a Sangha.
Yeah, they are asking that.
Well, we don't really know exactly because we're just doing as we're told. We're told verified Asanga, but our theory is that first he's 10 years old, and second he's a tulku, a reincarnating lama, the head of maybe the Sakya sect, one of the 5 schools of Tibetan Buddhism. No matter how many times they say there are 4, there are actually 5.
That's true.
And the Dalai Lama's sect keeps trying to outlaw this other sect, but there's still 5 schools of Tibetan Buddhism.
That's true.
And the head of the Sakya sect, the Asanga, is 10 years old, and children presumably get more support from above, so that could be why he's the one we're supposed to work with.
That's true.
And he's done some scary things already. He left his home and his family when he was no more than a boy.
That's true.
And went to Tibet. Well, untrue. He went to Dharamsala.
That's true.
The Tibetan government in exile in India, and is training to assume that for which he was born.
That's true.
So he should get support from above, given that he's 10 and he's doing courageous things in an era where very few do courageous things. Why do you ask?
Questions whizzing up past that first discussion room.
Right. I think they're asking because they really don't want to let go of the 2 dimensions that need to go, and we understand that. How are we all exactly like this? Not wanting to do the inconvenient things that still need to be done. This is the pattern of all the dimensions of which we have awareness in this unfortunate time of collapse.
That's true.
which goes a long way toward explaining why the collapses are still necessary. Why do you ask? Look, now this symptom is reappearing here.
That's true.
This is a higher aspect of the arm. This is the lower arm, and this is the higher arm. It might be, friends, listen, maybe this dimension needs to go, and maybe this, it's once more a stripe message, like a line, a stripe, a dimension. And we've got to step up and do our part, and if our part is to remove, unfortunately, the lower astral dimensions where presences we know and love are roaming, it's still our part to do that.
That's true.
And if we don't do our part, then possibly those above will need to do their part with regard to our own dimension. And how are each of us exactly like this? Thinking, I hope there's some easier way, when what we're supposed to do is very clear right in front of us. And hello, my old friend, I hope there's some easier way. Thank you for being such a loyal companion, but there is no more easy way. All the easy choices have already come and gone.
That's true.
There's a pileated woodpecker right there at eye level.
Thank you.
Do you see him?
Yes, I do.
Pileated woodpeckers often represent Pan. What is it, Pan? How may we be of service? Some of these dead children that are coming up from Pan's workroom have messages.
That's true.
They're supposed to take the messages to, I think, to Luce. All the way up to the highest Luce they can connect with right now. I don't know why. Somebody asked why. Why do you think it's Luce? I don't know. But it definitely does seem like they're supposed to deliver them to Luce. There's the address label. I see it, to Luce.
That's true.
To Luce from somebody.
From somebody.
It might be from the dimension that Pan is occupying or living inside of, or a member of right now. To Luce from the dimension where Pan is. That could be.
That could be.
To Luce from the dimension where Pan is. Here you go.
Here you go.
Running it through the spines, through the cranium, up through the big channels of the visiting souls. They're still short and pipe-like, I believe.
That's true. The channels are.
Yes, the channels are, and they're not as clogged as they were yesterday. We think the detritus of the recent dimensional collapses is starting to ebb.
That's true.
But 2 more of these dimensions need to go, so it's going to pick up again. Friends, it's uncomfortable for those of us who are underneath collapsing dimensions. And what tends to happen is that everybody just feels bad, and they're trying to figure out why they feel bad from clues in their lives, because they don't have the frame of reference that I feel bad because some astral dimensions are collapsing and the debris is falling down, raining down into my life and the lives of everybody else also. That's just not part of the societal conversation.
That's true.
So people are making up stories about why they feel bad, because that's what conscious minds do. They attempt to figure out why things are happening.
That's true.
Many people have been feeling bad this last couple of weeks. There's been a lot of dimensional collapse occurring, and it does need to happen. It really makes it easier for us to connect with higher presences who are not ill with the contagion of lying and cheating and stealing and bullying. So it's actually a good thing. It's just a little bit uncomfortable, and it's okay. It's kind of like rain when you have a project that you want to carry out. Let's say you want to do a lot of outdoor painting, and it keeps raining, but it's raining in an area that has had drought, and so we should be happy for the rain and figure a way to get our work done anyway, and be happy for the rain.
That's true.
Thank you for the rain.
Thank you for the rain.
And thank you for the dimensional collapses. If those dimensions are problems, then thank you for acknowledging the problems and doing something about them. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it, right?
I think so.
Okay.
I have the itch going all the way up there.
A stripe,
Yeah.
right? In a stripe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, I can't think what else it would be. They're going to need to address it. They probably won't.
Probably not.